WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. He got it. Spread eagle for a spin.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Rockingham Toyota, Dodge, Nissan.
Looks good. Looks good. This is good to go. It's good to go.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. Once again, thanks for making us a part of your Sunday here on the Winds. I'm Doug Brown, along with Dan Murphy for Stars and Strikes, and this is week 2 with Dennis Shute looking for his second win in a row.
Oh, he had a big win last week. Once he got rolling, he was almost untouchable there, and he got a little scared toward the end, but out of the coals and into the fire. Peter Flynn this week.
All right, let's meet our two bowlers. We talked about this a little bit last week with Peter Flynn coming in, but let's meet our defending champion first, our number 5 seed from Amesbury, Massachusetts, Dennis Shute.
Okay, Dennis comes in averaging 124. High 3 is 448. Roll-off score 677.
And, of course, last week, Dennis really went without a mark the first 5 boxes and then jammed all of his marks into about a 20-frame span in the middle of the match, and it was enough for that 403 to get the win. And he advances now against our number 3 seed from Bradford, Massachusetts, Peter Flynn.
Okay, Peter comes in averaging 125. High single 211. His roll-off score 5 pins better than Dennis at 682.
All right, and of course we'll have our bonus ball contest a little bit later on at the end of the show. $30 on the line. But before we do that, we have 3 strings of bowling. Should be a terrific match between Dennis Shute and Peter Flynn, and we will start it right after we have these messages. Last week, in case you missed it, Dennis Shute with a 403 to knock off Frank Rose with a 379. So Dennis tries to make it 2 in a row today against our number 3 seed Peter Flynn. The semifinal match will be next week, and that'll feature Dan LaPlume, our number 2 seed. And 2 weeks from today, another first-time appearance on Stars and Strikes. Frank Rose made his first appearance last week, and next week, Brian Crowell will be here for the first time. But right now, for his second straight appearance here on Stars and Strikes, Dennis Shute after his win last week.
And he'll get us started on, of course, lane 32.
Dennis last week went through the first 5 boxes of the match before getting his first mark. And that first game ended up being a 120. Oh, there's a fine spare to start this match.
Not going to wait 5 boxes this week. Splits the 3 and the 6. Watch the 3-pin into the 7. Right there. Nice shot by Dennis Shute.
Actually, Dennis did most of the work in that one game last week. He threw 2 games below his average. He opened with a 120 and finished with a 117, but he had a 166 in the middle.
Look at that. He actually hit the head pin. Head pin is still rocking, but he hit it so lightly, it didn't knock it down. Just 4 in the spare. 4 horsemen left, plus the 9 and the 10 pins. No wood to help him.
And he still gave it a scare.
Showing us how to make some shots here. This is the 410. Goodbye. 24 through 2 boxes for Dennis Shute. Now our first look this week anyways of Peter Flynn.
The tall left-hander will be shooting at the triangle.
Was Abe Lincoln left-handed? He's got the Abe Lincoln look. Now with a little beard. Let's make it 9 for Peter. One, 3, 6 left for Peter. Looking for his first mark.
Nope.
Not quite.
Early 5-pin lead for Dennis Shute. And now he'll shoot at the 2, 7, and 10.
And don't count him out on this shot. The way he's been making cut shots the first 2 boxes. 2, 7, and 10. And now let's see. The wood is rolling in between the 2 and the 7. Idea is the same, though. Try to cut the 2-pin into the 10. Watch out that wood doesn't deflect the ball between them.
Oh, boy.
That close. Rocked the 10-pin a little bit, but didn't knock it down.
And the 10 box for Dennis. Take another look at that spare try.
That close to making that spare. Lane 31 now for Dennis. Well, he's going to try the 4 horseman right plus the 7.
Almost.
Make it 43 now for Dennis. Peter Flynn for the 3rd and 4th frames. Both bowlers on the quiet side right now. But hang on, it won't be long with these 2 guys. Wow, 5, 8, 10. No wood.
Peter Flynn, of course, was here back in the spring. He was on both Tournament of Champions series last spring in the doubles. His partner was Chuck Godzik. They entered the tournament as the number 5 seeded team. They zipped off 4 straight wins to get to the finals and then lost to Gary Carrington and Joe Ashline. In the singles Tournament of Champions, Peter came in as the number 3 seed and in order beat Neil Goslin with a 408, Rico Baldinelli with a 444, and Paul Berger with a 410 to win the championship. In fact, Peter right now has a 7-match winning streak going in singles competition here on Stars and Strikes. Peter takes the spare. The last man to beat Peter Flynn here in singles competition was Dave Richards. That was more than 2 years ago.
And he's still recovering from the broken legs. No, just kidding, folks. Just kidding.
Oh, my. How about this leave?
Hello. The head pin plus the back row. The 9, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Trying to get out of it now is Dennis, and he does with a 9 box. 52 half. Our presenting sponsor, of course, as always, for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, our friends at Tri-State Megabucks. Just imagine being rich. Tri-State Megabucks, give it a try. You never know.
Piece of wood in front of the 610 cost him that shot. Instead of the wood in front of the 5 sweeping to the right, the other piece of wood prevented it. And let's make it an 8.
So 60 through 6 for Dennis Shute. And Peter Flynn will step up now working on his first mark.
And with a chance to take the lead, anything over 4.
And And a nice pocket hit. There was never a question about that one.
That's over 4. For a minute, the 5-8 looked like they was going to stay, but boy, didn't take them long for those two to go down either. For the strike on spare.
Oh, look out. Bad luck on the wood.
The 5-7, he wants that wood to stick around, but it's not, well, it's going to, I guess.
Peter from Bradford, Mass. He and his wife, Deborah, have 2 sons, 11-year-old Sean and 8-year-old Craig. Peter works at Grandpa's Printing. Does a lot of his bowling at the Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, Mass.
The wood is almost directly behind the 5-pin, a little bit to the left. See if it helps him. He's got to have the 5. Oh,
wow.
It threw it in front of the 7. So I guess the answer to my question is it didn't help him, it hurt him. He might have been able to cut that 5-pin clean into the 7 without the wood behind it.
Peter does a lot of his bowling here on the Winds, too. This is his 28th appearance overall on the Winds, and he is 22-5 overall. Here's what happened.
There you see it.
The piece of wood in back deadened the 5-pin and flipped it over toward the wall, but in front of the 7. Oh, Dennis Shute back in the pocket, and look at that wood.
Poor 5-pin says they're coming at me from all directions, but nothing hit me.
Now it will, for the spare. Second mark for Dennis Shute.
A little full in the head pin, got a good break though. 7-pin drop and just the 3-6-10 left for another spare.
Oh yes, 2 in a row for Dennis. Peter misses the head pin. He's left with the 1, 3, and 8. Yes, for the spare. Nice shot.
Played it to the left of the head pin and kept the head pin in play for the 8-pin. His 3rd mark of this string. 2nd spare.
Through the middle. Talking about the doubles tournament of champions last spring when Peter was paired with Chuck Godzik, kind of almost a statistical impossibility happened during that run of 4 consecutive matches. In the first match, they beat Paul St. Pierre and Steve Reno. They threw a 400. The next 3 weeks, they threw 365. 3 weeks in a row, same score. Not impossible, of course, but statistically unlikely. Yes.
That was a big 9-pin drop for Dennis Shute on that spare in the 8th. Looking at just the 6-pin to make it 3 spares in a row and his 4th of the string.
Right there.